Welcome back, Touchers. That will probably be the first and last time I ever use that intro.
I think we should cut that immediately.
Ever since Mitchell, he's already wanted to make a cut. Ever since Mitchell said that our audience is unofficially the Touchers, even though we've never referenced it again, I've always wanted to joke.
Don't put that on the air. That can't be. Well, I cannot be associated with that.
Well, it's too late now.
Now it's all out there. That's crazy. I am sweating so bad.
Because here's the thing, though. We're not the Touchers. The people listening, they're the Touchers. No, we said welcome back, Touchers. Anyway,
yeah, it's all of our audience. So if you're listening, we're talking to you.
That's right.
You better shape up.
Welcome in. It's Out of Touch episode number 45. It's been a bit. Took a week off last week. I was in Delaware. Mitchell's been playing golf. Dustin's been doing whatever Dustin does. And it's now 1,000,000 degrees outside. It's not officially summer. It's pretty close, but it is hot as hell outside.
It was scorching in central Indiana today. Scorching.
I feel like
you look like you got a little sun too, by the way.
Oh, I'm roasted. I haven't been this burnt in 10 years. I applied sunscreen 10 times today. Not tougher than the sun. Confirmed. Sun is very tough. Ate through my sunscreen in 1 second. I'm going to come to you guys tomorrow, probably not able to move.
Dustin?
Well, I was just going to say it felt like we went from like really nice, like low 70s to hell's front doorstep.
And that's how it always goes. It's how it always goes. Look at that. If you're on YouTube, he's got this. You can tell where his watch has been. He's got the perfect watch tan line.
I think I even have one where my ring is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. It was hot out there today, baby.
And I feel like we always get that transition. It's always the tease in early June where you're like, okay, we might ease our way into summer. You're going to get these high 70, low 80 days. Also, shout out to Frank in the background real quick as he just snuck into the shot. Always appreciate a little Frank appearance.
Yeah, but he's got a sock. If you're on YouTube, you're going to see him throwing this sock in the air for probably the next 5 minutes. And I apologize. I'll be on mute because he'll probably bark at it a couple times.
Oh, it's wonderful. I love it. But, yeah, it's hot. And it's the time of year where you're in that transition period. I didn't make up this term, but I've adopted it. It's swamp ass season. And if you don't know what that is, all you have to do is think about it for a second. And it's exactly what you think.
If you don't know what it is, more power to you. That means you've never had it. And that's the most, keep going the way you're going. Whatever you're doing is working. I've got a case of that right now. You wouldn't believe. I waddled in here from my car, walking 3 feet apart, dude. So if you've never felt it, don't worry about it. If you have, you know what we're talking about. It is that season for sure.
How's the gold? You've been using the gold bond. It's also gold bond season.
I forgot it today. What a miss that was.
Yeah, it is a miss.
What an absolute miss. That was good podcasting just now.
It is a good podcast. Sometimes you just got to let the silence fill the air a little bit.
I know that hopefully someone's listening in the car and they just looked at their phone like, wait, did it pause? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And it's wonderful. Wow. So I'll just go and get into this then. So Delaware, that's where I was at. I know one thing, I think I briefly mentioned this on the podcast before I left, but I became hyper aware of it after saying it on here because it continued to happen. And I don't think it's because people heard it on this podcast and were messing with me. It's just the natural reaction. I couldn't stop getting people asking me, why the hell are you going to Delaware on vacation? And I know we talked about, at least I know, Mitchell, you kind of had to dip out early on last week's podcast. So I don't remember if you waited on this or not. But is it that weird of a place to go? Because what I think is the reason people were asking that question is because I think a lot of people don't really realize that Delaware is actually a coastal state. They may think it's this place that might be close to Washington, D.C., which it is, but people might think it's inland. Maybe it's not as pretty as people might expect because it really is. It's kind of a forgotten state. It's pretty tiny, obviously.
Well, how often do you hear people say that they're vacationing in Delaware?
Not around here very often, but apparently it's a lot more common the further east you go because it's a shorter drive.
Well, that makes sense.
I've heard it's beautiful there. and I'm basing this 100% off of golf. I've heard, so if you're like me, the only thing you think about is, isn't state nice? Maybe. Is the golf good? Yes. Okay, I will visit there. Anywhere in the Northeast in the summer, if you're not in New York City, from what I understand, is pretty awesome. The weather's perfect. Yes. You get really cool trees, like massive trees. Then you get cool beach. The water's nice. It's a really cool place to be. I know a couple people that are from Delaware, and they talk about how nice it is. I've never been there, but I think that now that you've been there, I would guess more and more people start to go there as the South gets busier and busier.
And that's the thing. Like, so we stayed in two different places, and the first place was a town called Lewis, which it's nicknamed the first town in the first state. And that's kind of initially what drove me to that area. It's kind of a small town that's right next to a harbor, and the harbor, like the waterway, I believe, bleeds into the Delaware Bay, which again bleeds into the Atlantic Ocean. It's just a very beautiful town. The weather was in the low 80s and no rain the entire time. And then Rehoboth Beach, really close to where Lewis is, that's also where we stayed for a few days. And Rehoboth is kind of like, I don't want to say the East Coast, or at least it's one of the more, I guess, well-known beaches in the area. But again, around here, the Midwest, the Kentuckiana area where all of us are from, many people, including myself, until recently, didn't even know Rehoboth Beach existed. But apparently it's one of the more well-known beaches in that area, and it's super nice. Not crowded at all. Part of that might have been because it's still early in June when we went, and it wasn't, super hot in the middle of summertime, that kind of stuff. But I'd highly recommend that beach location to anybody who's got small families or young families, and you kind of want to not be around thousands and thousands of people, because there's still plenty of beach. There's plenty of places to stay, a lot of good food. I ate crab legs for the first time.
Wow.
I don't know if being 26 is too old to be having crab legs for the first time, but I lost my crab leg virginity while on this trip.
I'm still waiting on my first one. I've never had
Really?
It. My grandma.
You lived in Charleston too, which
yeah,
I don't know if Charleston's like a crab leg area, but
I feel like there's all kinds of seafood, but I think we talked about it a little bit. Chicken nuggets, that's my jam. I don't care if I'm in the Caribbean, I'm finding chicken nuggets like wherever they're at. But from like, is it expensive out there? Because I want to take a trip. First of all, did you drive?
Yeah, we drove. So from where I live,
10
and probably similar to where you live, Dustin obviously being in St. Louis now, be much further. But for me, it was 12 and a half hours. And I'd say for most people, 12 and a half hours is the max that some people, that most will drive for a vacation.
That's how far Charleston is if you have a stop. So,
and most people do stop. I'm the kind of guy, I love to be behind the wheel. I love road trips.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like, and most people like road trips, but many people hate the driving aspect of it. Well, I want to act like I love it. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop, but Dustin, you look like you were going to butt in and say something.
But
I was.
And you can't.
Maybe I'm on I might be on a delay here because I feel like I've been interrupted. But I was going to ask, so when you say you love a road trip, do you love to drive straight through? Because I was always the kind of person who would drive 8 straight hours, didn't matter, just get there. I drove from Orlando, Florida back to Indianapolis, like without making a stop. But what I discovered is like, I think a true road trip, though, I would drive 3 or 4 hours and then I stop at like different cabins or hotels and experience something else. That to me is a more fun road trip. It takes you a little bit longer and it's obviously going to cost you a little bit more money, but you like road trips for the driving aspect. Do you ever stop?
And the driving isn't necessarily like the most awesome thing in the world, because obviously you do get fatigued. And especially once you make the return trip, you start to get what I've coined as driver's ass, especially on the long trips. Cause like, you've been sitting, you can't really focus on anything but the road. You can look out, your window every so often at the scenery. For example, we drove through West Virginia and Maryland, the mountainous part of those states, which I guess West Virginia is all mountains. Maryland's kind of more of a variety. You have obviously the coastline the further south you go, but whenever you're going from West Virginia into Maryland, it's from mountains to more mountains. So it's a very scenic drive. But if you're somebody who doesn't like, windy roads and maybe gets a little car sick, maybe that's not for you. My wife, she gets really car sick, but she takes Dramamine and she sleeps 90% of the drive, which I think is also part of why I enjoy driving. It's a lot of peace and quiet. I'm listening to podcasts for nearly the entire time.
What do you listen to?
Pretty relaxing. I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I love Theo Vaughn. He's my favorite podcast to listen to. He's my dude.
And I think what's interesting about him, he has funny. He'll bring on some comedians that are funny, but then they get pretty serious. They talk about a lot of life stuff too.
It's very introspective.
Yeah. I think he comes from such an interesting background too in Louisiana. It just he's got stories and stories and stories about the way he grew up. So,
and if I'm being honest, obviously I don't try to make this podcast is not meant to be like, I don't try to make it like that, but his podcast is what inspired me to kind of move forward with doing a show like this, because it's not even about trying to be funny, because honestly, I don't think I'm that very funny. I'm awkward, and maybe the awkwardness can be a little funny. But I think what really makes his show go to another level is the fact that he is 110% himself unashamedly.
All the time.
I think that's the best part of the show.
Yeah, and that can be hard. Especially, he kind of burst into fame pretty quick. Yeah. And even us, with our Toucher fan base, sometimes it can be hard knowing that people are, paying attention. It can be hard to be real. And I want to give you some credit. I think I come on here, I'm just myself all the time, and I think you guys are the same. So I think you've done a good job, John, in making sure that stays a true core value of the podcast.
And it'll always get easier the more that we do it. And I think that's why I've always tried to be consistent with putting out a show every week. And I know we've taken breaks, including last week when I was gone, but
so whenever you take vacation, that's when you take it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah. You're the boss. So we go as you go, John.
Well, I appreciate
what made you settle on Lewis? And this is why I ask, because when I do vacations or little trips or whatever, a lot of it is like what I see on Instagram. Like there'll be a cool city or a hike or a hotel or something that pops up, and I'll kind of Google and see if it's worth my time. And then that's how I kind of plan trips or vacations or whatever. But did you know about Lewis? Did somebody recommend you, or did it just pop up on an internet search or Instagram?
I take a similar approach to you. Again, I was somebody who had never heard of Lewis or Rehoboth Beach. I just knew, like most people, that Delaware was Delaware, and that it was kind of just Maryland's little brother, because they're kind of on the same strip of land, just the way that it's divided. A little bitty piece of that land just so happens to be Delaware. And and one other thing about it too, I guess even though the state, you can drive through the entirety of it, from north to south, in about 90 minutes. And the very northernmost part of the state is Wilmington, Delaware, the most urbanized city, if you will. And it's not even that large of a city when you compare it to, the cities you normally think of. The middle part of the state, if I can speak, is farmland, not fully, but it's more farmland than you would probably imagine. And then the south is nearly all coastal land and kind of marshlands and stuff like that. So, and Dustin, I think you'd really like, I mentioned this last week, Cape Henlopen. We did some biking at a place called Cape Henlopen that's on the point of the coast. And there's a World War II defense. I don't remember exactly what it is, the correct term, but basically a former defense base called Fort Miles, where you can see where artillery used to be set up. They have replicas of where the former artillery used to be. And it's just cool to see. I got this on. I'm gonna get a little meta here for a second, because we just went from what I was saying to laughing, and we got a private chat. I won't read it because it is the private chat, but I don't really know what to do with what was sent here.
Yeah, I'm gonna just come out and say it. So I was in the sun all day. I smell terrible right now.
You can smell yourself. It's one of those things.
And that's when you know it's bad. I'm like trying to listen to you, and I get a whiff, and I have to go on mute because I'm like, ugh.
But see, that also might be an indicator that I just need to shut up.
No,
so
it
many
does
people
nothing
can
to
only
do with
take
you.
so much.
Do you ever? So you've been in the sun all day, and you don't really get you're just kind of going.
Yeah.
I was sitting at like a nice dinner after this golf outing. There were people around me that I like wanted to impress. And I smelled like this. Like this is.
But surely they smelled like that too, though. They were all out in the hot sun.
You hope.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
That's
Do you
the
guys know
general
who Sage
understanding.
Steele is?
Yeah.
She's ESPN anchor. She went to IU. She was at this outing, and she was sitting kind of around us. And the team that I was on today is doctors. They are orthopedic guys. She got hit with a ball in the leg.
Oh.
Has one of the nastiest bruises I've ever seen in my life. Like, she's going to wake up tomorrow and not be able to walk. But she's obviously got a really cool job. We're doing something like this. You never know what it could turn into. I'd like to do some post-game stuff maybe for IU. I like being in front of the camera. She's somebody you're trying to, shake hands. I shook her hand smelling like this.
So now you're just rethinking, you're replaying the events that took place today.
I should have ran away. You can't.
The nice thing is, I assume it was when you were outside. Was this like all outdoors?
At dinner. Really
was
nice
the dinner outside?
It was inside.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
It was enclosed. I think she was playing. Then she got hit by the ball, and I don't think she was playing after that. So I'm just sitting here thinking, you just can't. That's about the worst impression you could. Is there a worst impression you can make that after you shake someone's hand and you walk away and you're just like, oh my God, I smell terrible.
And it's pretty bad. I can't say that's ever happened to me.
Is it worse to have bad breath or horrible BO? Like right now, I got some sweat. Some sweat stank. It's not good.
I think it depends.
Depends on the environment for sure. I think it'd be more understandable after being. This is a 7-hour golf round I played today.
Yeah.
7.
I was going to say, I think that people are like, it's not that he doesn't shower. It's that he was outside playing golf for sweating 8 hours. Yeah.
And I'm not a big drinker literally ever anymore. I used to be. And I've really pretty much just stopped. I don't really have a reason to drink anymore. But my wife's getting induced on Friday. Whoop, whoop. Having our probably next time we record this, we'll have a fourth guest, and it'll be my little baby girl. So it's our last week as, just me, an idiot. So I'm like, sure, I'll have a couple beverages.
It's kind of like a bachelor party, but like for having a baby.
It felt like it. It kind of did. And I don't know if that's normal, but it kind of felt like it. Like I shook Mike Woodson's hand today, Calbert Cheney's hand, and I just smelled like this. That's terrible. It's terrible.
I would like to see the picture of you shaking hands with Calbert Cheney.
I walked in behind him today, and I knew he was big. If you're an IU fan, he was obviously one of the best players to ever play at Indiana, and I knew he was big. You could stack me on top of me, and I still would have to reach up to touch the top of his head. He is a monster.
He is. He's a big dude. It's so humbling to me. Like when you go, and Mitchell probably dealt with this in football because you're around linemen and linebackers all the time. But when you do like player interviews and like on TV, you'll be like, oh, Khalil Ware is really big, 7 foot. Zach Edey, really big, 7'4". So you kind of expect it. And then Trey Galloway walks out, who's 6'4", 6'5", still a giant human being.
It is those guys. It's the guys that play guard that you're like, this is just a normal dude, and they're monsters.
Yeah,
I walked by Ryan Kelly today, who's an offensive lineman. He was at this outing. Been on the Colts for 9 years or 8 years, however long it's been. All pro, whatever position he plays, center, I don't even know. He had to have his own cart. He couldn't have someone next to him because he was just so massive. And it wasn't very nice. The guy I was playing with was like, do you ever wonder why you didn't make it longer in the league? Well, those guys are why. Because you look like you're sitting next to me and I'm dominating this cart, and that guy has his own cart. These guys are just so big. And Calbert Cheney he was bigger when he was playing.
Yeah.
He was lifting, and I just can't to be as athletic. I think basketball players are the premier athletes on the planet. They're so big, so long, and still so fluid. I can't imagine having to guard that guy.
Yeah.
He can do everything. He can take you to the top of the key, cross you over, and get to the rim. He can take you in the post and score 40 in any way he wants. How are you supposed to guard that?
This is going to sound like an insult, but I mean it as a compliment. It gives me so much more respect for a guy like Jordan Holes, who I don't find to be like, I know he's athletic, but he's not 100%. Super athletic. Just shot the shit out of the 3-ball. And like, I know he wasn't a great defender, but could defend some of those. Like, I'm just like, that dude.
And I've walked by him too. For him. I can't look him directly in the eyes, but I'm not like super far off of that guy.
Right. Isn't he like 6'1" or something? 6'2"?
He's like 5'11", 6 foot.
Is
just
a
normal looking dude.
Okay.
And he was just dealing with Cody Zellers on every team that's 7 feet tall. He goes in the lane and the skyscrapers are in there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Now that I've been out of it for a while, you kind of forget how big these people are. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. But then you remember I can smoke them in golf, and that makes me feel pretty good about it. So.
Straight from returning punts for touchdowns to swinging on the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. I did qualify. I qualified for the state amateur. Did I tell you guys that?
No. So what's that like a step toward? Like if you do well in the state amateur, does that get you into something else?
A shake like a good firm handshake from
Mike Woodson, hopefully without smelling bad.
No. So the state amateur is just its own tournament. I'm actually not playing it. It was the first day was today, and I chose to play in this, and Laura's getting induced on Friday, so I'm not playing, but just a statewide amateur tournament. It's a cool tournament to get to play in. Hopefully I qualify again next year, but it doesn't get you into the cool stuff like the stuff I'm playing in a couple weeks, like U.S. Amateur, U.S. Mid-Am kind of stuff. But a cool tournament nonetheless.
Dustin, you stayed in Columbus this past weekend, right? You look like you sent some pictures. You stayed in pretty cool looking Airbnb from what I could tell.
Yeah. So I have a friend, my acquaintance, I should say. My acquaintance met him in Columbus. He's doing a tour, a really cool thing. He's told me 800 times what this is for, and I don't remember. But anyway, he's doing a special project where he's doing a tour of all 14 Big Ten campuses, and getting a bunch of information about the schools, about restaurants, doing a lot of unique things, touring facilities. It's a really cool thing, and then he'll be able to go back and he's a teacher in Indiana, and most of the school, a lot of people are going to Indiana or Purdue, and it's an opportunity for him to explore and say, these are different places you can go.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he was in Columbus. I wanted to meet him for at least a portion of his trip, and Columbus isn't that far of a drive from St. Louis. It's about 6 hours, and my dad and stepmom live in Indianapolis, so that's a perfect, it's 3 hours and then 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a perfect midway point. And probably, 6-7 months ago, he had sent me a DM about this dog hotel I guess it's a hotel that allows dogs.
A dog hotel sounds like something totally different. Sounds like
it does.
Some furry stuff.
That's what I had to specify. But the name of the brewery is Brewdog. So it's basically this brewery with a hotel, 30 some rooms attached. It's in you're in the brewery. It has a fridge in the bathroom so you can drink shower beers. It has another fridge out in the common area.
Mitchell's I could use a shower beer right now.
This sounds like something I need right now. Look at that hair.
Yeah, It was really cool. I don't know. I guess if you just go to Instagram and check it out or Facebook, I post a lot of pictures, but it was just a really cool, unique thing. They had enough space. Like there was a restaurant, there was a bunch of TVs, there was a walking path, a trail. I could have legitimately just like as a 2 or 3 day, like if you needed to get away from something, there's not a ton to do, but there's enough to where you wouldn't have to leave the property. But we were in Columbus, so we did some cool things, walked around Ohio State, went to a couple restaurants, and had a good time.
That's awesome. Columbus is an underrated city just itself. I think Columbus is one of the coolest places. I've been there a couple times, obviously, for football, but went separately a couple times just as to see it. I can see why people like going to Ohio State.
I agree. And I had been there 2 or 3 times before, and I was like, I don't think Columbus is that nice. And then for like this time I saw it through brand new eyes, and I was like, this is a pretty cool little town. But I can't believe I almost forgot to mention this. The one thing, so he was there like Wednesday through then left Saturday morning. I got in on Thursday. So we did a lot of the touring stuff on Friday. And since I'm a big sports guy, we did a bunch of the athletic facilities on Friday. He saved that portion for me. He did surprise me with something, though. Do you know, Mitchell, what is in Columbus, Ohio? It's related to golf. I'll give you a hint.
I know that there's a couple golf courses. Are you talking about Jack's course?
Well, it is related to Jack Nicklaus.
I know it's the Jack Nicklaus Museum.
Yes. Have you been?
I've never been, but they were just talking about it at Jack's tournament that he holds in Dublin, the Memorial.
Yep.
And I think it's recently renovated, maybe, the museum.
And well, I don't know if they didn't say it had it.
Stuff, and it's like one of the coolest. If you're a golf guy, like you gotta go.
It was amazing. Like I thought, you kind of see it from the outside, and I was like, it costs $10, and I was kind of thinking, okay, this is going to be neat, but it's going to be like a 3-room type of museum where it's just got, a couple different things, and because he's the greatest golfer ever, but at the same time, like, how much are you going to put of his stuff in the museum? I mean, we were in there for probably an hour and a half. I could have spent 3 hours if I read every single thing and looked at. And my friend is like I shouldn't say not a big golf fan. He doesn't really like golf at all. And he was at some points like mesmerized by this stuff. Like it was from the beginning of his life to the end. I mean, not to the end of his life. He's still living, but it was just green jackets, claret jug,
18
U.S. Open trophy
stuff now.
Oh my! It was just
different rooms about just the majors, and he won like 60 tournaments, and he did it in an era that like there was a bunch of really good players. So he won some tournaments in some really cool ways, and I think he's done so much for golf. Obviously, him and Tiger kind of together catapulted into where it is today, where you see millions and millions of dollars on the line. But to do it from Ohio State, which is not typically who you'd think of as like a golf mecca.
Right.
And to bring it all back to where it all started at Ohio State, like just a really cool kind of center of golf in the Midwest.
It was so cool. What was funny is he told me, I got a surprise for you. And we were walking towards it, and I hadn't seen the sign. He's like, do you know where I'm taking you? He's like, surely you know. You're a big enough golf guy. I'm like, I legitimately have no clue. I had no idea. So it was like my face was like, I don't know if you guys watch Parks and Rec, but when Leslie surprises Ben Wyatt with the Game of Thrones and he makes like that face, like,
yes.
I know that's what my face looked like when I saw the sign.
Yeah. It seems like a trip that I just have to make.
Yes,
all the golf 100%. Around there.
And especially since it's only 3 hours, you could do like a Friday night or Saturday night, like Saturday, go there for the day and then come back the next day.
Some of the best golf in the country is within an hour drive of the center of Columbus. Something people don't know. You've got Muirfield there, Jack's Place. You got all kinds of top tier golf that's just around that little area. And a lot of it is because of the success of Jack Nicklaus. So a trip that Laura and I need to make for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's time to get into the Out of Touch podcast hotline, which is 502-830-9195. And the reason I'm getting into it, we have one call, and the reason I'm getting into it a little early, it's pretty lengthy, and I think it's going to trigger a little reaction. And just to give a little tease, I guess I looked at the transcript earlier, and it's a repeat caller. It's our friend EJ, and I don't know if you remember this, but well, you probably do. EJ was he was taking shots at Dustin probably about a month ago.
Yeah,
and Mitchell in that same episode asked EJ to call back with some examples on why Dustin's man card should be revoked. And that's what we're going to get into, or at least we're going to let EJ get into. And again, this is long. I may or may not play the entire thing, but we'll definitely start and stop.
This is long. Okay.
I don't like that he's got so many
You can go first. If you need to go ahead and start defending yourself, Dustin, you're more than welcome.
Well, I don't know what he's going to say, but I feel already offended that it's long.
I'm already on Dustin's side.
It's actually, well, to be fair, some of this, I get called out on this too. It's not just Dustin.
Sure.
Is anybody calling me out?
I don't know.
What a miss.
Again, we'll let it play. I don't know if Mitchell gets called out.
The biggest man card being pulled is mine, dude. I don't know how.
Well, let's just let it roll. And again, yeah, let's just, without further ado, here's EJ.
What's up, In Touchers in Indiana? The most on the rail show I've ever heard. It's EJ, just sitting here crushing a little bourbon. You know how.
I'm going to go ahead and stop. First of all, I've not heard this, so I don't know the pauses, any of this. So I don't. First of all, just first impressions, EJ sounds a little inebriated. I'll go ahead and point that out.
I disagree. I'm fired up.
You don't think so?
No, I appreciate he's sitting back listening to the show. So let's give EJ a chance.
All right.
Yes. All right. Elephant in the room. We don't want to talk about it. Shooty's man card. So the golfer asked for some examples of.
I guess you being the golfer, Mitchell.
I appreciate
this man card. So I will give you two examples from the actual episode that when you all listen to what I talked about. Number one, Friends. Dudes don't reference Friends. Friends is a chick flick. You can't be like, hey, Mitchell, have you watched Friends? No, you haven't, because it's a chick flick. So you don't reference.
I'm going to pause him right there. I'm going to defend Dustin here for two things. One, Friends isn't a movie, so I don't think it even technically qualifies as a chick flick. And two, I will say this. I probably know more women that like the show Friends, but I don't think it's a show for women.
Well, I obviously agree with you, but that is so much. I will accept it. It is so much tamer than what I had expected to be mentioned here. So I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I'm still okay with it.
Yeah, we're with him. We'll accept that one.
Yeah, I will accept
that one on the chin. Fine. Take that on the chin.
All right, let's keep rolling.
Friends. That's number one. Number two, what do you crush? We talked about, of course, we have the cracker eater. That's not much better, but
that's me.
You know, she's in his 30s. He's like in his 30s, so he's like, you know, he should be crushing like beer, bourbon, chicks, whatever. But what we're not crushing, Dairy Queen ice cream cakes. We don't come up with that's so good.
Pause. Do we have words on this?
I do have words. I don't say I crushed it now. I said in college. I don't know that makes it any better, but I think it's way better. I don't do it now.
I want you to do it now. In my head, you're doing it now. You're making direct trips to Dairy Queen. Like, dude, I need some ice cream cake immediately.
Do you know what is funny is like, to EJ's point, it might be worse that I said that's what I was doing in college instead of crushing beer.
Yeah, right. Dude, it's Friday night. Ice cream cakes.
I don't know what you guys have planned. I'm going to go get an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen and just pig out.
We are going to
while I'm watching Friends, dude. A Friends marathon going on with some ice cream.
We're going to invite all our buddies over, dude. Ice cream cakes.
With Friends, the show. All right. Let's keep it moving.
Oh, it's fine if you like them, but you don't tell everybody. You just don't do it. So that's two examples. All right. And then So like the last couple episodes, like there's been some promise. Like I'm like, man, she's gonna get his man card back, and so like he was doing like this brewery thing, and I was like, I'm so excited. He's like, oh, my wife or my girlfriend's going down to play volleyball. I'm going to the brewery, have some beers. I'm like, oh, the man card's back. And then like he's doing that, and then like 5 minutes later, he's like, hey, you guys ever watch Friends? Man card's
going back.
So should he work on
DJ
it?
hates Friends, dude. Hates Friends.
This is totally okay. You know what? I'm with EJ. I'm okay. I'm okay with this criticism. I was expecting like a personal attack of sorts.
Okay.
But if it's this kind of stuff, I'm okay with it.
I was on Dustin's side. I'm with EJ. This guy.
That's okay.
I want to have a
Dustin is
bourbon
on
with
EJ's
EJ.
side.
I bet EJ's got all kinds of funny stuff going on.
Let's keep going. Still about a minute 10 left on this.
I have faith in you, buddy. No worries. All right, on to the cracker eater. Okay, you went to this deck burning party. Okay, so just FYI, burning treated lumber is illegal in all 50 states. So
I did mention the deck burning party on here.
Yeah, it is illegal in 50 states, which makes it pretty sick.
Yeah. I think I should keep the man card.
You're pretty much a criminal at this point.
That's right. Yeah. Just
you and bank robbers.
There's any police officers listening.
100%.
Especially if it's the guy who arrested Scotty Scheffler. He seems like a stand-up guy. Let's keep going.
Shout out, Louisville.
He's going to be showing up
because treated lumber.
Do what?
I was going to say he's just going to show up with his beat up $80 police pants.
Oh yeah,
destroyed beyond repair.
His boo-boo.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
It's made of arsenic, chromium, and copper. It's like the worst things you could ever breathe into your body. But in this,
well, thankfully, it's been about, I guess, a month since this deck burning, and I'm still not sick. I mean, again, maybe that means nothing. Maybe 20 years down the line, and I have some early onset crap. Maybe it'll be because I inhaled some of this.
I think
arsenic,
it's a slow burn.
Chromium.
It's a slow burn.
It could be a slow burn. Let's keep going.
Same breath you said, I was really scared to finish the energy drink. Let's just finish the energy drink, okay?
Is he talking about Dustin again, or is that me?
No, he's talking about you. You drank like half an energy drink, didn't like it. I'm with him on this.
That's
if
true.
If you get an energy drink,
energy.
you smash that thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty pansy thing. I'll give you that, EJ.
And maybe it has some alcohol too, because that might kill all the arsenic you breathed in from the deck burning party.
Fair. Okay. He seems to have it figured out.
He's been studying us, clearly.
Yeah. Have you ever had a Red Bull vodka, John?
No, I haven't.
That's not surprising.
Exactly.
Hold on. Well, I want to ask this question as a follow-up. Have you ever had Red Bull or have you ever had vodka? Have you ever had either of those two things?
I've had them in the term that I've tasted them, but I've never had a full can of Red Bull, and I've never had a full. Oh, do you take shots of vodka? I don't know.
You've never taken a vodka shot?
I've mixed them whenever I went to that deck burning party. Oh, here we go. Frank's in it. He sees something. So on YouTube right now, he's looking out the window. Do you have your window open, or is he just peeking?
There's an intruder.
Intruder alert live here at the 38-minute mark on the Out of Touch podcast.
Look, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, this is great. Look at this dog reaction. Biscuit on Dustin's camera doing the exact same thing, just about.
They're following each other.
I was gonna say, I think Frank started that. Frank currently is barking. He sees something every night. Whenever it gets about this light out, we've got a bunch of trees, and he probably barks at a bird or something. And he protects the house like man card not revoked for Frank.
Yeah.
He's full protection mode. But the problem is, I always wonder, maybe your dogs are like this. He's all bark. And then as soon as someone comes in here, he runs away and cowers in the corner. Like, you're not going to do nothing.
Like my dog, I don't know. She pretends to, protect the house, and maybe she would if there was an actual situation where she would have to. But most time when people come in that she's barking at, she just then assumes they're friends, and she starts to, lick them and be friendly and that kind of stuff. Frank's escaped. Is he? He's definitely disturbed by something.
There's a lot of disturbances happening.
There's nothing outside.
Yeah, it's just the way that goes. Dogs are. I heard someone the other day. So, happy belated Father's Day. This is at my family's Father's Day.
Thank you.
Get together. But I heard one of my family members said that apparently dogs can understand up to 200 words, and that's as most as they can learn.
I'll tell you this: Franklin doesn't listen to a word I say.
I saw you.
Whether he understands or not, he don't listen to nothing. If he is in a place that he likes, i.e., the park, he understands 0 words, none. He doesn't even play fetch anymore. I don't even exist in his world. He just roams. He's gone. Whenever he's done, we leave. He comes over and is like, all right, let's go. But I don't see him. 30, 35 minutes. He's just gone. See you later.
He's an adult. He's doing his own thing.
Yeah, he don't need me anymore. He's left the nest all the time.
Is he jealous of the baby coming? You think he's aware? I know some dogs kind of have that instinct.
Yeah, so not everybody, but you see all those videos of like the dogs can tell when mom is pregnant and they put their like head on the belly or whatever. None of that. It makes Laura so angry. She'll be on the couch, just kind of resting. He'll come up on the couch, look at her, and then walk to the other end of the couch. Like, couldn't be less interested in what's going on with her at all. And that makes her mad. But
he'll be jealous. Maybe he'll be a jealous dog. I guess you'll find out here in the very, very near future.
We're going to find out when this gets released on Wednesday, right?
That's true.
I'll be 2 days away. Laura's being induced Friday afternoon. Well, so by Saturday, there'll be a new little young Paige. Baby Paige in the familia.
There's going to be a new page in your book.
Oh, how cute.
You nailed it. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Now EJ's going to call again.
Yes. Totally acceptable.
Yeah.
Did we get through his call, or is there more?
Let's finish. There's a little bit left. Let's finish what he's got to say real quick.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe.
Well, that's all I got. You'll ask for recipes for drinks. So my favorite drink is a sunflower. I made it up. You take a glass of ice and you put some bourbon in it. Yep, and that's it. You guys keep doing what you're doing. I love your
show. What an
Boy, did he have me on the edge of my seat for that?
Yeah, I know. You look like you're about to write something down. Like you're going to write down some ingredients or something.
It's an interesting name, EJ. We might be calling into your show. You definitely could have named it something manlier.
I know. Like him talking about all this man card stuff, and he names his drink a sunflower.
Yeah, and it's just bourbon with some
ice.
Name that the Optimus Prime or something. Something sweet. EJ.
Do people not normally put bourbon on ice?
I feel like that's a pretty common thing.
It's called on the rocks, John. Golly.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Never had a shot of vodka in your life.
Do you know what it's called when you have alcohol in a glass with nothing else?
Do you know that? Right? Like you're drinking it straight? That's not what that is?
Neat.
That's stupid. There is such thing as drinking something straight, right?
Yes, and a straight is if it's shaken in a shaker with ice, and you pour it in a glass, so it's cold, but it's not on ice. But that's not neat. Is like straight out of the bottle into your glass. Straight is if you shake it with ice, so it's cold, but there's no actual ice in the glass.
You all should give me alcohol terms to guess instead of town name trivia, and I have to get
what you need is correct. Straight to the dome, which is when you just take a big handle of vodka and take a huge pull out of it.
Here's what we're going to do. So we're going to do town names here in just a moment. I already know if the loser is one of you two, I already know what your punishment's going to be. We're not even doing a wheel because it's a great punishment in my opinion. But if I lose, I'll do a shot of something on next podcast.
You're going to throw it on the podcast.
It's not going to be some bull crap.
It's tequila.
Blue Flame.
It's tequila.
I'm not going out to buy tequila. It needs to be something I have in my house. And if actually, leave it this way, there's a good chance I probably don't have it in my house, Yeah. But I don't know how much tequila costs, and I'm not buying tequila. I'm sure it's not.
Wait, I'll send you tequila.
Economically friendly.
I will send you tequila.
John's like, I'll do a shot of alcohol, only of the alcohol I've had in my house, which is no alcohol.
Yeah, which is water.
I will make you do a shot of rubbing alcohol.
We don't drink often.
You what? I'm sending you a bottle of tequila if you lose.
You send me. I'll send you my address. Unless I don't think you have it, but yeah, I'll give you the address. You can send me tequila, whatever it is you want me to do. I'll do a shot of it on the podcast. It'll probably suck, and it'll.
We'll get you something good. I
probably mean like it'll probably just suck.
I'll get you some golden tequila.
The only full shot of anything I've ever done, it was my brother's 21st birthday. I'm talking like real shot. I've done little sips of things here and there because, again, I stink and I should probably have my man card revoked by the one and only EJ. But the one full true shot I've ever done on my brother's 21st was a full shot of those little fireball things. The individual size bottles. I hated it. It was, and I don't think it was bad tasting. It's just, I hate it. It's just not for me.
Oh,
if you think Fireball is rough, John, you are in for a treat with anything else you do a shot of.
Here's another quick story. This is actually pretty embarrassing, but my whole family, I did this in front of my family. I can't remember if it was on Christmas. It was on one of the holidays, but somebody had a bottle of, I don't know if this is the official name of the drink, but I know the nickname of it was called a Blue Flame. Are you aware of what a Blue Flame is? Either one of you? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, whatever. It's very high percentage alcohol. It might be, I don't know what type of alcohol it is. It doesn't really matter, I guess. But I took a very small sip of it, and it was so strong, I spit it out on the carpet immediately. It was that. And then, so here's the thing. My cousin also, she took a real shot and then proceeded to throw up in the bathroom after she took the real shot of the Blue Flame.
All right. So alcohol doesn't affect the Aldens very well, is what you're telling me.
Some of the Aldens, but I guess not all of us are, and really not really any of us are heavy drinkers, but like some of us can handle it better than others.
Yeah, I'm sending you straight tequila, and you're going to drink it out the bottle. You're going to go straight to the dome.
Gosh, I have family that watches this show. Imagine if somebody were to clip this down the road and I'm just fisting tequila from the bottle.
You should never be fisting tequila anywhere.
But we also shouldn't name our listeners touchers, but what we've done.
Well, you did.
You did, actually. I said, what do we call the name of our listeners? And you're like, oh, they're touchers, 100%.
A Blue Flame, from what I've Googled, is 1 ounce peppermint schnapps, 1 ounce Southern Comfort.
Are those bourbons? What are they? I know schnapps isn't bourbon. What's the other thing?
Southern Comfort is, I don't think it's a bourbon. I think it's a whiskey though, isn't it?
No. I don't know. Either way, now I'm afraid to lose town name trivia because this will.
Hold on. Now it's going to bother me. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
I'm not really a bourbon or whiskey drinker at all. Like, I'm pretty much all tequila or vodka if I drink. It's whiskey is the base spirit of Southern Comfort. Southern Comfort was a big drink at the frat houses.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a whiskey. It's a whiskey liqueur with fruit and spice accents. So
it did not taste like that. It tasted like I was putting diesel fuel in my system.
I cannot wait for you to get this tequila shot.
I cannot wait. I'm not losing town name trivia. I'm undefeated, and now I'm actually scared though because I don't want to do that. But I guess without further ado, it's about that time though.
Let's do it.
We haven't done it in a while, and we're on Florida town name trivia. Who wants to go first between Dustin and Mitchell?
Dustin, you go first.
Okay.
All right, Dustin. Between these two, which one is the correct town name? Is it, and again, these are Florida, is it Bow Wow or Yeehaw Junction?
Ooh. Bow Wow or Yeehaw Junction?
Two great names.
This seems like very Florida.
Someone made up both of them.
I think I'm going to go with, because it sounds ridiculous, Yeehaw Junction.
That's correct.
There he goes.
It's too ridiculous. It's too ridiculous to not be real, right? Yeehaw Junction was named after the Yeehaw Station on the Florida East Coast Railway's Kissimmee Valley line, which passed through Yeehaw Junction in the early 1900s. So there we go.
That's one for
Dustin. We got 3 left. If y'all can sweep me, then yes, I am nervous because I thought I was going to get Dustin on round 1 with Yeehaw Junction.
All right. So they only get easier from here.
I hope not. We'll see. All right. Next up, we've got, and this is kind of 50-50, Mitchell. So I almost feel bad that you have to answer this one. We've got 2 egg or 2 sons.
Ooh.
And again, sometimes town name trivia is just a little. Don't Google this. I see what you're doing on your screen. You've got 4, 3, 2.
I'm dealing with my dog, buddy.
No, I don't believe you for a second.
2 sons.
Incorrect anyway. 2 egg is the right one.
Fucking Dustin's too slow.
I for real thought you were looking it up.
Too slow. He's supposed to send me the answers. I want you to drink.
Did you Google the first one, Dustin?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good one. Oh, okay. So you're trying to cheat the system, and you still can't do it.
Gosh, dang it. I typed in 2 egg and nothing came up. It came up with 2 egg calories.
Wow.
Gosh, dang
The integrity of the game has been lost, but that doesn't mean. But now you're just battling each other. Now Mitchell's on.
We got to figure out a better way to cheat next time.
I know. I should have.
Now you're getting a timer. You're getting a timer.
I had my second tab pulled up, but I thought it'd be too obvious. I went to my other screen, so I was trying to keep it on the same screen, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
It's from now on. It's a timer because that's.
I typed in 2 egg, but it kept bringing up TO egg. Like T. I kept my fat thumbs cost us on that one.
Dang it! That's all right. I'll allow it.
How disappointing. All right, Dustin, back to you. We've got Florida or Ricochet. And yes, that is Florida without an F.
Florida, or Ricochet?
Correct.
Okay, I'm looking straight into the camera. I'm not.
It doesn't matter anymore because now you're playing against Mitchell because you've already got a loss.
Yeah, you're not getting my answer this time, bucko.
Ricochet.
Oh, for some reason I need to have my hand on this button quicker. Florida, Florida. Yes, indeed. There is a town called Florida, Florida.
That's not protest.
Its origin, the name of the origin of the town's kind of stupid, but it's legitimately Florida without an F, or Florida without an F, I should say.
Lack of creativity.
Yeah, they just ran out of ideas. That's project due tomorrow right there.
I like that.
All right, Mitchell, this is so you're both tied, right? Or is that where we're at here?
No, he's got one. I got to hit this or else I lose.
Yeah, so if Mitchell hits this, then it's a wash, nobody gets punished. But if Mitchell loses, then he suffers the punishment. So here we go. We've got perma-snow or frost-proof.
Perma-snow.
Oof. I hate that for you. Frost-proof Florida. Man, I did good. And you know what? The only one you got right was the one you cheated on.
Shut up. I'm about to leave this call.
Frost-proof.
What's the punishment?
Oh, it's great. So it's not that horrible. I just thought it was a good idea. But Mitchell, you're going to have the honor of, and maybe you don't have to do this next show because you'll have a brand new baby. But in one of the next couple of shows, you're going to intro the show and have our first topic of discussion.
Dude, are you sure you want me to do that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you don't have to you're not gonna have to play the intro of the music. I will still operate everything from the home base here. But Mitchell's gonna
you might lose your job, dude.
Oh, you can run me out of business for all I care. You're welcome to do that.
We're gonna have a blast. I'm gonna get my radio voice working. Welcome in another episode of Out of Touch, episode number 48. Got a bunch of good stuff to talk about today. John, Dustin, how you doing? Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like you're a shock jock.
I got all kinds of stuff. And we can talk about. We're gonna get in a little rabbit hole. That's exciting. That is a good quote unquote punishment, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, see, it's one of those things. Depending on how you look at it, if you don't want to host, then
I'm gonna come in cross-eyed with no sleep next week. and I'm going to have all kinds of topics that come from dazed and confused.
And to be fair, again, I want to clarify, you don't have to come up with the whole itinerary of the show. You just have to get us rolling with the intro and the first topic. You can do the whole damn show if you want to.
I got this, baby.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Mitchell coming in hot next week for Out of Touch episode number 46. He's going to be
buckle up
the
your
show.
Bootstraps, fans.
Buckle
I'm ready
up
to
your
underwhelm.
bootstraps.
Yeah.
He's ready to underwhelm. You'll do great. Now I'm even more excited.
Yeah, it'll be good. I think that is a good idea. Good for you.
I like
it. Good. I'm glad that it was.
I'm still sending you some tequila.
Honestly, if you want to, I'm going to lose eventually. It's inevitable. Just make sure it's not something that, I don't know, that gets worse with age, I guess, right?
All alcohol gets better with age unless it's been opened.
There you go. Well, then he'll open it. He's probably going to take a swig out of it and see.
That was something.
Could we get
USPS after I take a big old drink out of it?
Could we get John a bottle of tequila with the worm in it?
Oh gosh,
cicadas! Have you seen everybody drinking those?
Yeah,
people are drinking cicadas.
No, well, they put. They did. They put like cicadas in a jar. I don't know if it was vodka or what, but it was like because I think it's in Mexico. They'll put a worm in the bottle of tequila.
It's gross.
There you go.
And maybe we'll
also real quick shout out. This was the little pink whale. I think we were talking about Vineyard Vines because I couldn't think of the stupid name of this brand a few weeks ago, and my brother got a Vineyard Vine shirt. He said, "Here's your stupid whale. You'll never forget the name of the brand now." So they told me to put it on the wall. Should I put the pink whale back on the wall back here?
It would be kind of funny, yes.
All right. I think that's gonna wrap things up for this week's episode of Out of Touch. Any final thoughts from the peanut gallery, Mitchell and Dustin?
I have one thought.
Okay.
Congratulations, Mitchell.
That's right.
I hope everything
goes
well.
Next time we talk to you, you will have a child.
Yep. Everything goes well. We're happy for you.
Prayers to Laura, man. She's a beast.
Yeah.
She's been unbelievable. I've done absolutely nothing. She has all the credit. She's been awesome. She's going to be awesome. We're excited for this weekend and excited for the rest of our lives.
And we're excited for baby Paige. It's always exciting to bring in a baby to anything.
New life.
So, new life. One of the best things mankind has ever done, right? So thanks again for listening to all of this nonsense and more. If you want to hit that hotline and tell us anything and everything, remember that number is 502-830-9195. Next time you hear somebody doing this show, it's going to be Mr. Mitchell Page, also with a child. So until next time, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week.